Say you wrong, and you better check you for what I do. You phone. Yeah, you cunt.
The accusations made in this lawsuit against Snoop Dogg describe the 50-year-old rapper as a long who demanded from women and in return promised them jobs.
In the way Snoop said it. Once again, I don't know why he keep putting his spin on it. You know what I mean? I wish somebody can ask him that, like, bro, you said this, but other people, why are you putting that spin on it?
So it looks like Snoop Dogg might be facing some serious heat soon. Despite his status as a hip-hop legend, rumors are swirling that he may not be all he seems. Some folks are even saying he could be as bad as Diddy, or maybe even worse. As much as Snoop is adored in the music world, he's got some pretty heavy allegations hanging over him that could really change people's perception of him. For instance, back in 2022, a woman stepped forward with a lawsuit against Snoop Dogg and another man, claiming they both SA'd her almost 9 years earlier. This woman, who is only identified as Jane Doe, says the incident happened after she went to a Snoop Dogg concert in May 2013. According to her, after the concert, she and her friend decided to go back to Snoop's studio with him and his buddy, Donald Campbell, also known as Bishop Don Magic Juan.
Rapper Snoop Dogg now facing allegations of just days before he's set to perform at the massive halftime show.
Jane Doe's lawyer, Matt Finkelberg, didn't hold back in his statement. He said that his client is done being silenced and intimidated. Our client's hope is to inspire other victims of sex harassment, and battery to understand that they have rights, will be protected, and although they are victims, they will not have to be silenced forever, Finkelberg said. The lawsuit reveals that Jane Doe tried to sort things out through private mediation just before taking legal action, but those talks didn't go anywhere. She alleges that she later asked to be taken home after being offered a ride by Campbell, who she alleges drove her to his own residence after she fell asleep in the car. The woman fell asleep at Campbell's home but was woken up at about 4 a.m. to Campbell forcing her to perform oral sex on him, the lawsuit said. Campbell then allegedly urged her to get dressed and accompany him to a taping of Snoop Dogg's Double G News Network, calling it a career move for her. While at the taping, the woman alleges that Snoop Dogg followed her to the bathroom, where he also forced her to perform oral sex on her and got off in front of her, her lawsuit said. She allegedly felt pressure from Snoop Dogg due to his dominance and his position of power over her, including his ability to hire and fire her and ensure that she would never be hired in his industry again, the filing said. Apparently, she is a dancer, model, and actress. Now, a spokesperson for Snoop Dogg denied that the rapper had any sex encounter whatsoever with the woman. Miss Doe's shakedown scheme is disgraceful, the statement said. Her attempt to use the courts to advance this scheme is shameful too, and does a disservice to real victims who deserve to be believed. The spokesperson also denied that the woman who filed the suit was ever employed by Snoop Dogg, because according to her filing says she was employed as a dancer on stage as part of their concerts. Snoop Dogg didn't just take these allegations lying down. He clapped back hard on Instagram with a post saying, "Gold digger season is here, be careful nephews, keep your guards up." Although Snoop eventually emerged victorious in the lawsuit, a lot of people still believe there was some truth to it. But this isn't the first time Snoop has found himself in hot water. He's had several run-ins with the law over the years, especially for gun and drug-related charges. And did you know he was almost banned from the UK for good? Back in 1994, Snoop was driving when his bodyguard shot a man from the car, leading to both of them being put on trial for murder. They were eventually acquitted, but it didn't stop the media frenzy. The Daily Star even ran a headline saying, "Kick this evil bastard out."
We, the jury in above entitled action, find the defendant, Calvin Brodus, not guilty of the crime degree.
Another thing Snoop is infamous for is his misogynistic views. When he first burst onto the scene in the 1990s, his lyrics were notoriously offensive, degrading, and downright misogynistic. Although he claims his attitude towards women has changed, he's made it clear he doesn't regret those lyrics. Take his beef with Iggy Azalea in 2015, for example. He kicked off the drama by posting a picture of an albino woman with cornrows captioned, "Iggy Azalea no makeup." Iggy clapped back on Twitter, calling him an ass, expressing her disappointment since he had always been nice to her in person. Snoop escalated things with a wildly offensive video response where he said this,
Say you wrong, and you better check you for what I do. You phone. Yeah, you cunt.
He eventually apologized, saying, "It's officially over. No more bad talk. I apologize. I apologize. I'm sorry. I won't do it again."
And it's officially over. No more bad talk. I apologize. Yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
Iggy accepted the apology, and her then-boyfriend, basketball player Nick Young, shrugged off Snoop's insults as the rantings of a man going through a midlife crisis. And then there's Snoop's reputation as a bit of a liar. He's famously known for his old ties with the Crips, a badge of honor in the streets that usually commands respect. But with Snoop, it's a different story. Despite all his interviews and tales of street cred and gang life, the streets don't respect him. Not his gang, not any other gang, no one. Why? Well, it turns out Snoop has been caught lying multiple times. He's known to exaggerate or outright fabricate stories about himself. He talks about being involved in events where he wasn't even present and tries to make it seem like he was there, including stories about his time with legends like Tupac and Biggie. Over time, people started to catch on. The more he talked, the more obvious it became that a lot of what he was saying wasn't true. Because of this, the streets gradually lost respect for him. They saw through his stories and realized he wasn't as authentic as he tried to appear. Now, no one in the streets takes him seriously anymore. Take, for instance, the time Snoop Dogg got caught lying on a Hollywood set about how he supposedly helped the director of Training Day film in a neighborhood flooded by the Bloods. According to Snoop, he had ordered a blue tracksuit from the wardrobe for the movie. When he arrived on set, he realized it was a Blood neighborhood. So he claimed he asked to speak to the local OG, who coincidentally rolled up in a wheelchair like the one Snoop was using in the film. Snoop said he ended up buying $300 worth of weed from the guy as a peace offering, which supposedly allowed them to continue shooting.
The movie was Denzel. Before I got the scene, right? They say, "What you want to wear in the movie?" I'm like, "Give me a blue sweatsuit. Let me get with my blue chucks." They didn't tell me where it was. There's 100,000 Bloods on the corner.
But the real story? It was later found out that Snoop Dogg didn't do any of that. In fact, the Bloods attacked him by throwing bottles at his trailer, and it was someone else who stepped in to calm things down while Snoop hid in the trailer, scared. Spice One, the gangsta rap pioneer, recently shared this story during an interview with The Art of Dialogue. He recalled how a group of Bloods, who are rivals to the Crips, were Snoop on the set of the 2001 movie. Spice One said he was alerted to the gang members throwing bottles at Snoop's movie trailer. After making his way over to the set, he managed to defuse the situation. "I'm out in LA, and my OG Crip homie hit me up. He was like, 'Spice, they're at Snoop's trailer. There are some Blood guys over there throwing bottles at his trailer,' he recalled. He didn't say Blood guys because, he's not going to say that, but that's what he meant. I was like, oh, so in so many words, he told me to go over there and try to calm them down. They'll listen to you. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, man, they don't know me. Why would they listen to me? But since the OG told me to go, I went."
Bottles at Snoop trailer. He didn't say Blood niggas because, he ain't gonna say that, but, that's what he tell me. And I barely understand him, but I got it. Since the OG go over there and holler at him and try to calm him down, because I think they was throwing bottles at the nigga trailer, at Snoop's trailer.
When Spice One arrived at the Training Day shoot, just his presence alone was enough to calm the Bloods and stop their attack on Snoop. So I go over there, they see me, and they're like, "Damn, Blood, that looks like Spice One Blood," he continued. I'm like, "It is me. Y'all got any weed? What's happening?" I told them, "Man, they're saying y'all were throwing bottles at Snoop's trailer and stuff. They're about to call the police. We need to get out of here before they come." And they were like, "Okay, cool, let's bounce." Nobody wants to deal with the police anyway. So we bounced, walked around the corner, and started smoking some weed while waiting for the cops to show up. They drove through, looked around, and left. I dapped up the guys, then went to Snoop's trailer and hung out with him for a bit, smoking some weed or whatever. I don't think he even knew what I was there for.
See him and they look at me and he like, "Damn, Blood." He like, "That look like Spice One, Blood." And I was like, "It is me, nigga." Y'all was throwing trailer and shit. I was about to call the police. We need to get the. They was like, "Okay, cool, let's get back out." No pose anyway, so.
Another instance where Snoop Dogg has been called out for being a liar was the infamous MTV Awards incident between Tupac and Nas. New York in the mid-1990s was a wild time for hip-hop. You had Nas and Biggie battling for the throne, and up-and-coming Jay-Z and Wu-Tang starting their takeover. The competition was intense. Then you throw Tupac into the mix, and it was like pouring gasoline on a fire. On the opening track of Nas's sophomore album, The Message, the Queensbridge rapper claimed the King of New York crown and took shots at Biggie and Jay-Z. But word got back to Pac, and he thought Nas was dissing him on the song, especially with the opening line, "Fake thug, no love, you get the slug, CB4 gusto." Suddenly, it wasn't just Biggie, Puff, and Bad Boy that Tupac had a problem with. Nas got dragged into it too. It didn't help that Nas was running with Mobb Deep, who had their own beef with Pac. The Tupac versus Nas beef came to a head at the 1996 MTV Video Music Awards, where they bumped into each other. According to Snoop Dogg's version of the story, Nas had 100 Queens shooters with him who started to surround the outnumbered Death Row crew. But Nas didn't want to fight, not because he couldn't, but because he didn't want to. He kept his cool while Tupac was going off on Nas, insulting him, not realizing he was surrounded and could get K-worded.
Nas had 100 niggas.
Right.
So listen to what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
By me saying he didn't want none didn't mean he didn't punk out.
According to Napoleon, who was actually there as one of Tupac's guards, that's not what happened at all. On the contrary, Tupac and Nas were civil to each other. Pac never disrespected Nas like Snoop claimed. It was a mutual respect thing, and they cleared up the misunderstanding between them.
Wasn't disrespecting Nas at all. You know, I know Snoop said Pac punked Nas and then went to Snoop and said, "You see how I got these New York dudes?" None of that happened, bro. It was a mutual respect thing. When Pac and Nas met each other, it was nobody talking disrespect from both sides. Maybe the people behind Nas and the people behind Pac was mean mugging, saying certain things, but Pac and Nas handled it like real.
According to Napoleon, Pac even said that when he got back to LA, he would remove Nas's name from every diss song where it was mentioned. Unfortunately, Pac couldn't do it because he passed away shortly after. Napoleon also doesn't remember Snoop being there at all.
He told him, he said, "Look, I got songs dissing you. When I go back to LA, I'm going to remove every verse that I mention your name in." But Pac couldn't do it because he passed away. I don't remember Snoop being there, definitely. I don't remember Snoop being there at all. Unless he was like in the cut somewhere, like, you know what I mean? When nobody saw him but him, but I don't remember him being there.
And then there was this commercial Snoop Dogg did about the Crips and Bloods that really didn't sit well with either gang. They saw it as a major sign of disrespect, considering the deep, complicated history and meaning behind their rivalry. Snoop's intentions might have been somewhat good. He wanted to stop the violence and stop black people from K-wording each other, like Tupac used to say, but the way he went about it was completely off. And the worst part was that he used the commercial to sell a beer brand, which kind of defeated the whole purpose of his message. Instead of focusing on the serious issue of gang violence, it came off like he was using the gang's struggles to make money.
Shit, man. I carjacked your grandma, tied her and killed your granddaddy. I'm sorry. Hey, man. I'm sorry.
Now, like we mentioned earlier, all of these started making the streets lose whatever respect they had for Snoop until it was completely gone. People started showing him physically that they didn't like him anymore. An example of this was the Bloods throwing bottles at his trailer, like we mentioned earlier. Another instance happened when Snoop Dogg's Funko Pop store in Inglewood got vandalized by the Bloods. Last year, Snoop Dogg opened his store in January selling Funko Pop and gold figurines based on his life and career. That doghouse was created after a partnership between Funko Pop, and Snoop was announced. Before the grand opening, Snoop was really excited about the venture. He said, "This new store stays true to who I am as an entrepreneur and rapper." He added, "I can't wait for my fans to experience, touch, and feel it. Once you see it, it's like no other thing in the world. That doghouse will blow your mind." Everything seemed great at first, but a few months after the store opened, it got vandalized. The store features a mural of Snoop outside, wearing one of his signature all-blue outfits, which is a nod to his affiliation with the Crips. In photos shared on social media, you could see that vandals had spray-painted over Snoop's blue outfit with red paint, which is the color of the Bloods, the Crips' rival gang. The vandals also tagged the wall next to Snoop's mural with anti-Crips messages, including CK, which stands for Crips Killer. Now let's dive into the beef between Snoop Dogg and Suge Knight, a highly respected member of the Bloods. So recently, Suge Knight claimed that Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre are among those involved in a secret society with Diddy. On a new episode of Collect Call with Sugi Knight that aired via Dave May's Breakbeat Media, the former music mogul suggested that rappers painting their nails and buying Diddy gifts are indications of them being a part of an exclusive group. Once they start painting they fingernails and wearing women's clothes, they got you, he said. I remember when they was giving Puffy an award at the Ace Cap Awards. Andre went up there and got him an expensive watch and gave it to him in front of everybody. He basically confessed his love to this man. Then Puffy and Snoop became besties. Every time you see one, you've seen the other one. Next thing you know, they start painting they fingernails. Didn't make sense. He also mentioned how the Game bought Diddy a Lamborghini when Diddy has more money than him, saying it's all part of the secret society. The Game bought Puffy a Lamborghini when Puffy got more money than Game. Why you buying this man a Lamborghini? You know your homies don't even got a Lamborghini. But once again, it's that secret society. For this thing to work and fix it, they gotta start all the way over in these major record labels and these big buildings. They need to get rid of all the guys who was connected to the poison and the snake.
You buy his man a Lamborghini.
I feel like I owe Diddy something, so I bought him a Ferrari, man.
That's what's up, man.
It was just a Tuesday.
You know, your homies even got a Lamborghini. They probably never rode in a Lamborghini. But once again, that secret society.
Now, this isn't the first time the Game's been dragged into shady dealings with Diddy. He's even speculated about it himself in the past. He didn't outright say Diddy made a move, but he did share some eyebrow-raising stuff. The Game spilled the beans about hanging with Diddy for a solid 2 years, doing the whole shopping spree scene and not dropping a single track together.
Around with D-Mac and Puff, we just did a bunch of partying. We might have went to the studio once or twice, but I didn't get to record nothing. I was just, you know.
Back in the day, chatting with VLAD TV, the Game got real about high-profile rappers leading a bit of a double life. He threw it out there saying he thinks there are several rappers in the closet, playing it off by hooking up with lots of ladies. The Game was like, I'm cool with being gay, be proud of it. His issue is with folks pretending not to be gay when they actually are, causing health issues and drama. When asked if he worked with a rapper not being straight up about their orientation, he was like, yeah man, some man fans out there in hip-hop. Basically saying if you're gay, just own it. No need for all the hiding and pretending. The Game didn't drop any names, but he threw some hints.
What would he be talking about? I mean, what you want me to say, man?
See, you don't ever.
Then he hits up Drink Champs and spills all the details about how he crossed paths with Diddy. Back in 2001, the Game was making serious moves in music with his brother Big Phase 100. They cooked up a mixtape and it landed right in Diddy's hands. Game's thinking, awesome bad boy deal on the horizon. But nope, didn't happen. Why? According to Game, Diddy had some wild expectations. He supposedly wanted Game some other rapper to get down and dirty in exchange for a record deal. They were like, nope, not happening. Now, jump ahead to the Drink Champs episode and Game spills the tea. Diddy's acting like they're about to drop an album, but reality check, for a solid 2 years, it's just globe-trotting, Diddy tossing cash around, buying Game all sorts of bling and watches. But here's the twist. When Diddy caught on that Game wasn't biting on whatever offer he supposedly had in mind, he passed him off to Dr. Dre now, back to Suge Knight. He had previously talked about Dre, Snoop, and Diddy on his podcast, as well as the aforementioned secret society. Back in February, he referenced the NWA beatmaker's history of violence against women and his participation in said group while defending Chris Brown. You can have a man that's part of that secret society and they're gonna give him an award, the Impact Award, he said, that Mutha F beat up more B than anybody. This man gets an award for beating up women. The incarcerated record executive then compared Dre's situation to Chris Brown's 2009 A of then-girlfriend Rihanna, saying, Chris Brown is stripped of his crown, and not saying it was right that him and Rihanna got into it and they had a fight or he beat her up. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is this. He had a fight with one woman or he beat up one woman, and they still casting stones at him. He added, they don't give him his cigar, they don't let him come perform, they don't let him pretty much win awards. But you can have an Impact Award with Andre. Now, besides all of this, Suge Knight has also claimed that Snoop Dogg may have something to do with Tupac's death. In an interview, Suge demanded answers from Snoop about Tupac's murder, saying he wants to have a serious face-to-face chat with his former artist. And it doesn't stop there. Suge's throwing out some wild claims, like suggesting that Snoop told another rapper not to go to Vegas with the Death Row crew back in '96 because something's gonna happen. As far as the Puffy situation, I really gotta have a real conversation with Snoop, he said. I knew that Pac did everything right by him by putting him on All Eyes on Me, speaking about him and being real with him. And if it's true what they say, face to face it's gonna be a lot of explaining to do. Suge also addressed remarks made by Warren G on Drink Champs, where he recalled him and Snoop learning about Tupac's shooting through a Nextel radio while in Los Angeles. The only way you would have a radio is if you was at the fight with us and he had a security detail, Knight said. By him not having a security detail, what are you doing with a radio? Why would you have a play-by-play on the radio?
If you was at the fight with us and you had a security detail, not having a security detail, what are you doing with the radio?
Warren G had previously revealed that he inadvertently saved Snoop Dogg from potentially getting shot, or worse, K-worded, in the drive-by shooting that claimed Tupac's life. The G-Funk legend shared the incredible anecdote during his latest appearance on Drink Champs, where he explained how Snoop had originally planned to go to Las Vegas with Pac and Suge Knight to watch the Mike Tyson versus Bruce Seldon fight on September 7, 1996. In a fortuitous twist of fate, the Dogfather changed his mind at the last minute and took Warren G up on his offer to watch the WBA heavyweight contest at his house in Los Angeles instead.
If I wouldn't have talked to him and got him to come over to my house, he probably would have been right there in the car with them.
There were further claims from Knight, including him saying that Snoop Dogg and Daz Dillinger did a song with one of Pac's alleged killers, DeAndre Smith. Knight also said that Snoop never visited Pac in hospital after his shooting, although the Dogfather has said multiple times that he saw Pac before he died. Recounting the incident on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast last year, Snoop said, "He got tubes in him, and when I walked in, I could just feel that he wasn't even there, and I fainted. Then his mother got me up and walked me to the bathroom and had a conversation with me about being strong." It has been rumored that Snoop Dogg and Tupac fell out shortly before the latter's death after the Gin and Juice rapper praised the Notorious Big in a radio interview, which can potentially explain why Knight believes he had something to do with the shooting. And let's not forget it's also a big reason why Suge Knight's got a bone to pick with Diddy. Rumor has it Diddy was also in the mix of suspects tied to Tupac's death. Suge, who found himself both a witness and a victim in the shooting, shared a chilling account of the incident with Las Vegas police during an interview just 3 days after the event, recalling the night of September 7, 1996, as they cruised along Las Vegas Boulevard with rap music filling the air. A sudden burst of gunshots disrupted their conversation at a red light. Tupac was like trying to get to the back seat. I grabbed him and pulled him down. It was about 15 gunshots. They hit my head. I grabbed him and pulled him down, Suge recounted to the police. Despite suffering bullet abrasions on his shoulder, neck, and chest, Suge emphasized that neither he nor Tupac provoked the shooters or knew them, maintaining a sense of confusion and shock during the chaotic moment. In the aftermath of the drive-by shooting, Suge highlighted a crucial detail about Tupac's reaction. Despite being unaware of the severity of his own injuries, Tupac expressed concern for Suge, stating, "You the one they shot in the head. You shot in the head." Even fans are convinced that Snoop might have had something to do with it. One of them wrote, "My man's scary, you play both sides of this fence, and Tupac finally noticed at the end." Another one added, "But he got a diss song dissing Biggie though. Snoop a fraud, and Pac said Biggie didn't have nothing to do with it, but Biggie didn't holla at Pac while he was down and locked up. Snoop a fraud." Suge Knight has also cast doubt on the legitimacy of Snoop Dogg's control over Death Row Records, insinuating that the rapper obtained ownership of the label through dubious methods. In an audio recording unveiled by TMZ in April 2023, Knight, currently serving time, scrutinized Snoop's position as the owner and CEO of Death Row. Knight claimed that Snoop's ownership stake in the label is tied to an alleged criminal act involving both Snoop and Michael Harry O. Harris, a convicted drug kingpin and initial financial supporter of Death Row Records. Looks like there's still a lot of dirt on Snoop that's yet to come out.